Hey y'all, this is Crow here. Just been thinking a little bit about some life advice to give, and right now I'm kind of out doing some work. Just stopped and got some gas. And I got to thinking about a really important topic, and this one's really personal for me because it is one of my biggest struggles, and that is being able to admit when I am wrong, or or a general term of when you're wrong, And, I know a lot of mine stems from, I've been done wrong a lot in my life. And I know all of it has stemmed from being the kind of person that always wants to see the good in people. And so, I've always tried to go out of my way to, try to treat people how I want to be treated. And, after you've been burned so many times, it kind of leaves you jaded in some ways. And that's not good, And it eventually becomes a struggle to where, if somebody does the little slightest thing against you, even though it's not something to take personally, sometimes you do end up taking it personally because, it kind of brings back a lot of things that have been done to you in the past. And I know that I get on here and I talk all the time about how if somebody does you wrong, you cut them off. Now, I want to clarify when I say that, when I mean somebody does you wrong and cut them off, I mean like somebody just does something just so blatantly disrespectful that you need to stand up for yourself and you be like, no, if this is how you're going to be, then I'm not going to have anything to do with you. Now, it's another thing completely if, somebody does something, wrong, and, you let a little bit of time pass and then they come back and they're trying to be genuine by being like, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I'm really sorry that I did this. And I understand if you're not able to forgive me, but if you can find it in your heart to do so, then you won't regret it. That is something completely different. And to me, it's a lot easier for me to be in a forgiving mood because it takes a lot to come out and admit when you were wrong. And I know it takes a lot out of me, and I will never try to claim that I am this perfect person. I am not a professional at really anything. And like I said, I started this whole channel to try to give advice to people that are struggling in their life like I have before, especially when it comes to trying to filter through people that are worth being in your life and people that are not worth being in your life. And, everybody in this world is going to have to learn all these lessons the hard way. And, the same goes for me. I mean, that's why I'm able to get on here and talk about this stuff. And sometimes you got to be able to put your ego aside and be like, hey, you know what? I understand. Because that's really what a lot of people in this world need, is just some understanding. And even if they've done you wrong, sometimes, in fact, usually the best thing that you can do for yourself and for them is to take a step back and try to evaluate what it was that maybe you have done wrong as well. Because 9 times out of 10, when there's like a falling out of some sort, there's fault on both parties. And eventually, in time, after things subside and everything, one or the other, or even both, are going to end up thinking about the other person and be like, man, I really wish I could talk to them. And 9 times out of 10, both people actually want to end up talking to each other but don't because they're afraid of what the other is going to say, like fear of rejection. That's a big one for a lot of people, is being rejected, or feeling like their efforts are in vain. So I guess this is kind of, like I said, this is a really personal thing for me because I'm still working on this aspect. And I used to be the kind of person that if somebody, just like if they blow me off or I blow them off or whatever, I just, I get mad about it. But then I started to come back down to reality and be like, you know what? Guess what? Things happen, and that's okay.